Today I have something special for you. I have an interview that I did last week with Erlend Hjelvik. He is the former singer of Kvelertak, and he is now promoting Hjelvik and Welcome to Hell, a new album that is going to come out this weekend through Nuclear Blast Records. The first time that I saw Hjelvik perform was when he was opening for Metallica with Kvelertak during their Hardwired tour. So obviously I had a lot of questions for him about his time in Kvelertak. Regrettably, this time the band was rather adamant that they did not want to discuss Kvelertak in this particular occasion. So that does mean that some of the questions that you might be expecting from an interview with Hjelvik are not going to be there, simply because it wasn't what we were meeting to discuss. So without further ado, Erlend, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Now, obvious 2020 question, and which is the beginning of every interview that I have with anybody this year. How are you and how is your family?
We're doing great. We're just staying busy. So it's, yeah, it's a strange year with the pandemic and everything. But for me personally, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because it's given me extra time to really focus on putting this release out the best that we can. Yeah, this is a totally new band, so it would be more stressful if we would have to focus on going on tour at the same time while we're putting out the album. So it's kind of allowed us more time to focus on, yeah, just doing the work with putting the album out. The good thing is that we get more time in a way, but the bad thing is that we need to play shows to make money, and that's where most of the income will come from, I guess. So yeah, it's a little challenging, I suppose, because I would love to be able to go on tour right away and promote the album, but you just have to make the best of the situation. So right now we're just gonna build a practice space in our house, and then we're gonna be ready for tour when that opens up. So yeah, we're hoping for next year.
I was speaking with a Swedish musician yesterday, and they said that in Sweden, for example, they could do like up to 30 people or 50 people. What's the situation in Norway?
I'm not sure what the rules are right now, but for a while it's been open to doing concerts for 200 people.
Oh, great.
So yeah, it's not really great though, because
right.
I don't know. Because it's probably fine if you're like a singer or songwriter or something, but I want to do the shows like the right way. So there's a lot of costs with doing that. So yeah, I don't know if it would be, I would actually make money for playing for only 200 people. I went to a festival 2 weeks ago, close to where I live, here in Norway. They had a metal festival. Carmageddon is the people who put it on. So that was really cool. That was the first concert I've been to in a long time, where they had a bunch of great metal bands. My old band Djevel played there, and bands like Inculter and Black Viper and stuff.
Oh, amazing.
But they had the same thing there. They had the thing where people sit at separate tables, and it was up to 200 people there, and lots of anti-bac all over the place. And you order beer at the table, and they bring it to you like by using your phone, so you don't have to walk around. So that was like being at a luxury festival, but yeah. I think it's strange for the bands just seeing all the people just sit down and watching the show. But yeah,
and for you as a fan of heavy metal, of course, I assume that it also felt weird to interact in that way within the festival.
Yeah, for me personally, I like to stay in the back when I watch shows, no matter what. So for me, I just felt kind of comfortable sitting in the back and just watch the band from there. But yeah, whatever. I hope things get back to normal.
That's interesting that you mentioned that when you like to see bands, you like to stand in the back, because you are an extremely energetic frontman. It's one of the most, sincerely, I'm not trying to kiss your ass, I'm not trying to be nice. You're really one of the best frontmen I've seen in a band. The kind of energy that you kind of exude during a performance is really incredible.
Thanks.
And today, as I was preparing the interview, I saw that I wasn't alone in that perception. James Hetfield seems to agree with that exact feeling about how it is that you perform. So it is pretty surprising to hear that when you're off stage, you like to just lay back and kind of see things from farther away.
Yeah, I think I just kind of have that explosive thing where I don't know, I just kind of hibernate in between, and then I like to save up energy before I do something. So it's
That's
just
a
how
good.
I operate. Yeah, I'm
That's a
pretty
good.
mellow most of the time.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a kind of a targeted aggression, so I think that it's always good that you're able to channel it in that way.
Yeah, for
So
me, it's like you turn on the switch when you go on stage. So yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
So tell me about Hjelvik, this new musical project in which you're embarking. Did you always know that you wanted to create something on your own, either when you were already in Kvelertak or even after you left?
Yeah, I would say it's been like a fantasy in the back of my mind for about 5 years, maybe. I didn't know like that I would be named Hjelvik or that I would write all the music. That was actually a surprise to me that I was able to write everything by myself. So that was cool to discover that I could do that when I sat down to write things just to see if I could, you know. Yeah, I didn't have any like preconceived notion of how the band would shape up when I left my old band. I just had a couple of months off, and yeah, where I didn't really think much about music except listening to it and relaxing, and then I just started getting inspired again, and then decided to start writing. And yeah, after I started, it took me about 6 months, and then I have written the whole album and the lyrics. So
So
yeah.
this is the first time that you actually embark on proper songwriting duties that include both the music as well as the lyrics?
Well, before it's always been collaborative when it comes to writing music. I've always written lyrics on my own, but when it comes to the music, I would usually write with someone else. Like, there's maybe a few songs I wrote alone, like on early Kvelertak demos, but that's pretty much it. So I haven't done it in a really long time. So
The final result is something that you refer to as Blackened Viking heavy metal. Could you elaborate
yeah,
on that a little bit?
the album turned out pretty diverse to me, more diverse than I thought. Like I think all the songs are pretty different, which I think is good because it makes the album sound more dynamic, in my opinion. Yeah, so Blackened Viking heavy metal is the best name I could come up with that I felt covered all the bases. I feel like at its core everything is heavy metal, and then I got a lot of black metal influences in there, and you know I sing about Norse mythology and Norwegian history, so that's where the Viking thing comes in. Even though it's yeah, I don't even really know what Viking metal is. Like to me, that's like old battery. But then you have bands like Amon Amarth, that's Viking metal too, and those bands sound totally different. So it's
Yeah, certainly.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly the Viking stuff. But like to me, North Star is the song that is the most Viking sounding song on the album, I suppose.
Have you always had that interest in Norse mythology, or was it something that you kind of discovered as a result of trying to write this music?
Yeah, I've been interested for a long time. Probably my interest started when I got into metal music, and then, you know, especially when I got into black metal, and a lot of the Norwegian black metal bands would sing about Norse mythology. So that's what sparked my interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was interested then, and I wrote a lot about Norse mythology on the first Kvelertak album, and then a couple of songs after that on the other albums. But that was more on a superficial level. The last couple of years, I've been really just getting a lot more interested in reading lots of books and just diving deeper into the material and taking it more seriously. And I write better lyrics based on Norse mythology now, I would say.
How is it for you to see how kind of this folklore of Scandinavia has become kind of this ornamental aspect of heavy metal?
Yeah, it makes total sense to me because metal music in itself is really supposed to be like primordial and like just about these and awaken like these huge big feelings, and it's very grandiose. So I think it's totally natural to sing about, you know, themes like mythology because they are like really grandiose things, and it's yeah, to me it just goes like perfectly hand in hand, like mythology and metal music. And I don't think it has to only be like Norse mythology. I think you can do it pretty much with any culture in the world. Like if you were Native American, you could probably write metal, you know, based on their mythology as well. So I think it's just about boiling it down to something that's like authentic and real. And yeah, to me, that's like, it's a lot cooler to sing about Norse mythology than just some fantasy stuff that you pull out of your ass. So right. I think it's cool that it's based on something that's real. Yeah.
And in Welcome to Hell, I noticed that several of the lyrics, I don't know if all of them because I didn't get to see, were written in English in this occasion. Was it difficult for you to start writing this lyrical content in a language that you were, I mean, of course you speak very fluently, but that it's different to start to act more poetically than if you were doing it before in Norwegian?
Yeah, to me, it's actually way easier to write in English than Norwegian. I think it's just a simple explanation that English has a lot more words than Norwegian does.
Oh.
So sometimes it's actually kind of challenging when you write in Norwegian to get to rhyme things. So that's a lot easier in English. But for me, it's just a nice change because I've written in Norwegian for so long. So it's cool to write about these themes that are very Norwegian and have to think about it kind of like an English perspective, because that kind of makes me, gives me some interesting ideas, just that practice from translating it too sometimes. I just think it's cool that people can understand the lyrics now. Before it was a little annoying that, you know, only the Norwegians could understand it and then the rest have to read bad Google translated lyrics.
Everybody has some favorites, right, when they write music.
Yeah.
What do you think is the closest to you?
Yeah, I have lots of favorites, but the last single I put out, Helgrunda, I think is a definite favorite of mine. I think it's just my favorite because that's the one that feels the most black metal to me, and I also sing it in Norwegian. I just like the feeling of the song, and I think it's one of the heaviest ones. And I have another favorite, and that's the third single that we're releasing tomorrow, and it's called Glory of Hell.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a great song. Yeah, I was listening to it today. Yes.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the guest performance of Matt Pike on it. I think it's really cool.
Since we've touched upon black metal a few times, have you been ever interested in performing just straight up black metal?
Yeah, I was in a black metal band for 7 years.
I am sorry for missing that. I am so sorry.
No, I don't expect everyone to know. I guess it's gone under a lot of people's radar. It was a band called Djevel, and I did 4 albums with them. So I've done my black metal part. I still enjoy black metal, but yeah, don't have any thoughts about doing anything that's like straight up black metal in the future. Right now, I'm just focused on my new band Hjelvik, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So.
And connected to this, mostly because I see that black metal has been so important to you. So you, especially living in Norway, you've certainly seen the difference with which society treats heavy metal and black metal in particular, right? It goes from being this, oh my God, these kids are going to burn the country or kill a bunch of people. And now it just goes to, whatever, some people painting themselves. And so that a lot of the shocking aspects of black metal, and even perhaps the rebellion that came from doing something that so many people felt was so perhaps offensive or transgressive, a lot of it has gone. The role of black metal in society has changed pretty dramatically. How do you see that?
Yeah, I think it's natural. I guess in the 90s, it was like an actual war. I guess they kind of experienced it as, and, you know, once people started accepting it and giving out awards and stuff, it's not the case anymore. So it's strange, but yeah, I guess it happens to everything, like even punk, you know, that was like really, what's the word I'm looking for? Radical when that started out. But, you know, now it's, you buy Misfits t-shirts at H&M. So just let people do what they want.
I first saw you perform with opening for Metallica in the Hardwire tour here in Europe, And it was this incredibly energetic performance. You are an extremely energetic frontman, and I saw that you plan to maintain that as well when you manage to do tours again, but that this time there might even be a cape. What can you tell me about what you have in mind for when concerts are possible, hopefully somewhere in 2021?
Yeah, a cape isn't a big leap for me since I used to wear owl mask and corpse paint before, so it's not a shocking thing. It's just my appreciation for 80s metal aesthetics, and I feel like since I sing about Norse mythology and all these like epic themes, kind of have to look the part too. Like it would be strange to sing about these things and then just have like normal street clothes. I think
just a t-shirt and cargo shorts would not be fantastic.
It's just another way to express yourself, and I think like a band like Ghost is a good example where like every element fits together, like his appearance and the themes he sings about and the album artwork. It just should all just be like one solid package, in my opinion. So that's what I'm trying to do too. My goal is just to, when the time comes, to put on memorable heavy metal shows that people aren't going to forget. So look forward to getting the opportunity to do that.
Having been in a popular band can be both a blessing and a curse, right? A blessing because the word of mouth is already there. People know you, know your talent, know what you're capable of. But on the other hand, you do have this constant association with your job, in the sense that you will often be presented as former singer of Bruce Dickinson. Experienced the same thing after he left Iron Maiden. Obviously, he did such a fantastic job with Peace of Mind, Power Slave, etc., that his solo work was always shaped by, hey, you used to be in Iron Maiden. So how do you deal with that challenge of ensuring that people, although it's fantastic that they appreciate your previous work, also understand that just like anybody else changes jobs, so do musicians?
I don't think it's a problem. I'll always be proud of the work I did with my old band, and it's still part of me because I started the band together with BJ. So yeah, it's something I created, so that's never gonna go away. And yeah, when I play live, I'm gonna play, I'll be playing Kvelertak songs too. So I think that's a natural thing to do. Yeah, they're my songs as well, so it would be strange not to play them, I think.
Can you tell me some of them, some of the ones that you consider to be specifically your songs and that you would like to bring into a future tour?
I would say any of the first 3 albums, any songs on there is what I consider my songs, because I wrote all the lyrics and I had a lot of musical input too. I don't want to spoil which songs.
No, that's fine. No. Yeah, it's better. I mean, at least we have something to look forward to for whenever we finally manage to see you live.
I can say that I want to choose songs that's gonna fit well with my new songs. So
Erlend, since we're running out of time, is there anything else that you would like to say to your fans, the ones who are looking forward to the release of Welcome to Hell?
Yeah, I just want to say I hope people who haven't heard my new band, that they will check it out, and fans of my old band, I'm sure they'll find lots to love in my new project. And if people like what they hear, it would be great help if they pre-order the album or merch. That would be a really great support for the band. And yeah, can't wait to tour again.